No long intro today, I just picked some of the best political thrillers, at least to me. As usual, I've left links in the description for the films I could find online, and if you have your own picks, share them in the comments. Forget the remake. John Frankenheimer's original The Manchurian Candidate is the one that matters. It is one of the most influential political thrillers of its era, setting the tone for much of what came in the 1970s. The story follows Staff Sergeant Raymond Shaw, played by Lawrence Harvey, who returns from the Korean War a decorated hero after supposedly saving his platoon. Captain Bennett Marco, played by Frank Sinatra, and the other men can only praise him. But Marco begins to suspect something darker when he and another soldier share the same recurring nightmare: visions of Shaw executing comrades under the watch of communist officials. What unfolds is a chilling look at brainwashing, manipulation, and hidden control. The film also dives into class, sex, and the disturbing dynamic between Shaw's domineering mother, played by Angela Lansbury, and his weak-willed father. Lansbury commands every scene, and the film builds toward an ending as shocking as it is unforgettable. Alan J. Pakula, later best known for All the President's Men, which also appears on this list, proved his command of paranoia with the Parallax View. Warren Beatty stars as reporter Joseph Frady, one of several journalists present when Senator Charles Carroll is assassinated at the Seattle Space Needle. At first it seems like a tragic but isolated event. Then Frady learns that other reporters who witnessed the killing are turning up dead under suspicious circumstances. His investigation leads him to the Parallax Corporation, a shadowy organization with training methods that blur the line between psychology and brainwashing. One sequence involving a chilling indoctrination film stands out as one of the most powerful depictions of manipulation ever put on screen. Watching it unfold through Frady's eyes pulls the audience into the same spiral of paranoia. What sets this thriller apart is how Pakula goes beyond the story itself. He captures the fear and distrust that defined the era, when conspiracy felt less like fiction and more like daily reality. The Parallax View isn't just about a reporter uncovering a plot, it's about the cost of stepping outside the order imposed by unseen powers. By the mid-1970s, Dustin Hoffman had already proven himself, but Marathon Man gave him one of his most memorable roles as Thomas Babe Levy. Babe is a history graduate student and marathon runner whose quiet life is shattered after a car crash in New York sets off a chain of deadly events. The victim of the crash is connected to Christian Sell, a former Nazi doctor played by Laurence Olivier. Known as the White Angel of Auschwitz, Sell once traded diamonds for lives during the Holocaust, and now he's willing to kill to reclaim what he believes is his. The film is brutal and unflinching. Its infamous torture scene between Zell and Babe still shocks audiences decades later. But beyond the violence, Marathon Man reflects the post-war anxieties of its time, blending paranoia, moral corruption, and lingering shadows of World War II into a tense and unforgettable thriller. Few political thrillers feel as urgent and authentic as All the President's Men. Based on the real illegal activities of the Nixon administration, it proves that fact can be stranger and more gripping than fiction. The film follows Washington Post reporters Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein as they begin investigating a break-in at the Democratic National Headquarters. What starts as a simple story grows into one of the biggest scandals in American politics. With the help of their secret source, Deep Throat, the pair uncover a conspiracy that stretches all the way to the White House. The Watergate affair marked a loss of innocence for America, a moment when faith in political institutions crumbled. Against this backdrop, Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman are perfectly cast. Redford brings determination to Woodward, while Hoffman delivers one of the most subtle, overlooked performances of his career as Bernstein. Their chemistry makes the procedural details come alive, and Hal Holbrook's scenes as Deep Throat remain iconic. Even if viewers know the outcome, the pacing and tension keep the film edge of your seat, a hallmark of why it remains one of the best political thrillers ever made. In The Line of Fire, Frank Horrigan, played by Clint Eastwood, is a Secret Service agent haunted by his past. He was on duty the day Kennedy was assassinated, and he's carried that failure with him ever since. Years later, a new threat emerges. Former CIA agent Mitch Leary, played by John Malkovich, is plotting to kill the president during his re-election campaign. What makes the film work is the direct clash between these two men. Leary doesn't hide in the shadows. He taunts Horrigan, laying out his plan piece by piece, convinced that the government wronged him. Malkovich is chilling in the role, focused and unpredictable, while Eastwood brings weary determination to a character who refuses to fail again. The result isn't just action, but a tense cat-and-mouse game between two seasoned pros. Steven Spielberg's Munich brings to light Operation Wrath of God, a mission few outside Israel knew about before the film's release. After the massacre of Israeli athletes at the 1972 Olympics by the Palestinian group Black September, the Israeli government assembled a covert Mossad team with one goal: track down and eliminate those responsible. But this is not a simple revenge story. The film digs into moral questions, what justice looks like, and how violence only deepens the wounds of history. Each mission grows more complex and dangerous, pushing both the agents and the audience to the edge. At the same time, the emotional weight is heavy. Every assassination feels less like closure and more like a step into moral ambiguity. Munich doesn't hand out easy answers. Instead, it shows how vengeance and justice blur in one of the darkest chapters of modern history. Another film from 2005, Syriana tackles the brutal realities of oil, power, and corruption. The story begins with a merger between two American oil companies, only to be shaken when a reform-minded Emirate prince awards a major contract to China instead. From there, the film unfolds through 4 interwoven storylines, each exposing a different side of global politics and greed. At its core, Syriana is about how the oil industry really works. Timothy Blake Nelson delivers one of the film's most cutting lines, pointing out that rules and regulations exist only for show, while behind the scenes no one actually follows them. What matters is money, power, and control, no matter who gets crushed in the process. To close the list, I picked Tailor Soldier Spy, a Cold War spy thriller based on John le Carré's novel of the same name. The story follows George Smiley, a disgraced British intelligence officer who is secretly brought out of retirement after a double agent is suspected inside British intelligence. It is not the kind of spy movie built around explosions or big action scenes. This one is all about silence, suspicion, careful conversations, and people trying to work out who can still be trusted. Directed by Thomas Alfredson, the film was released to strong reviews, won Best British Film at the BAFTAs, and received 3 Academy Award nominations. It was also a commercial success, earning more than $80 million against a $21 million budget. A lot of that success comes from the atmosphere. Alfredson gives the film a cold, restrained, deeply paranoid mood. The setting, the performances, and the quiet tension all help bring that world of Cold War suspicion to life. And it is hard to imagine the film working without Gary Oldman as George Smiley. According to producer Robin Slovo, once casting director Gina Jay suggested Oldman, the filmmakers knew he was the one. Looking at the final result, it is pretty clear they found the right man.